Do you know why Drogon did not kill Jon Snow? Even after he stood over Daenerys Targaryen's body with blood still warm on his hands? Most men say it was instinct, that dragons sense kin, that some ancient bond stayed his fire. Others call it mercy. But dragons are not merciful. They are honest. And Drogon, more than any creature in that ruined throne room, understood the truth. You see, when Drogon entered and found his mother fallen, he did not see politics. He did not see prophecy. He did not see betrayal in the language of men. He saw grief. He roared not because he sought vengeance, but because something irreplaceable had been taken from him. Now ask yourself this. If Drogon had believed Jon Snow to be the true enemy, would he have hesitated? This is the dragon who burned armies, who shattered fleets, who turned stone to ash without a flicker of doubt. Drogon does not hesitate. So why did he hesitate then? Because dragons are drawn not merely to blood, but to intent. Jon did not strike Daenerys out of hunger for power. He did not strike her with ambition in his heart. He struck her with sorrow. And dragons, my dear friend, know the scent of ambition. They have lived in it for centuries. Drogon had seen what the throne had done to her. He had felt her fire sharpen, had watched the world burn beneath her grief. When he looked at Jon, he did not see conquest. He saw devastation already written across a man's soul. There was nothing left to burn. And then, Drogon did something remarkable. He turned his fury not upon the man, but upon the throne. Iron and blades melted like wax. Why? Because even a dragon could see what men refused to. The throne was the wound. It had cut Daenerys long before Jon's dagger ever did. It had whispered to her, promised her destiny, fed her certainty. Jon was only the final consequence. Drogon understood that killing Jon would not bring her back. It would not undo what ambition had already done. Vengeance is a human obsession. Dragons are creatures of fire, not of grudges. And there is another truth men rarely consider. Jon Snow carried the same blood. Old Valyria ran in his veins. Dragons do not burn their own lightly. It is not sentiment. It is recognition. When Drogon looked at Jon, perhaps he sensed it, the echo of ancient riders, the scent of Dragon Lord lineage. Not an enemy, not a usurper, but a man broken by the same fire that had consumed Daenerys. So Drogon chose differently. He chose departure. He lifted her gently, gently, for a creature of flame, and flew into myth. Because dragons are not executioners for human tragedy. They are forces of nature, and nature does not avenge. It resets. In that moment, Drogon was not Daenerys' weapon. He was her witness. He destroyed the symbol of her corruption. And he spared the man who ended her suffering, not out of forgiveness, but out of understanding. Jon Snow had already condemned himself. Exile, grief, memory. There are punishments harsher than fire. So why didn't Drogon kill Jon? Because the true enemy lay in twisted iron. Because ambition had done its work. Because dragons burn kingdoms, not broken men. And perhaps, just perhaps, because even a dragon knew, this was not a story that required more ash. And now, the question whispered in taverns and towers alike. Will Daenerys Targaryen return? After all, Jon Snow returned from death. Why not her? It is a tempting symmetry, is it not? Ice dies and rises. So why should fire not do the same? Men cling to patterns. They find comfort in balance. If one miracle is granted, surely another must follow. Jon Snow did not return because he was loved. He returned because he was needed. There is a difference. His death left a story unfinished, a war unresolved, a purpose incomplete. The Lord of Light through Melisandre, the Red Woman answered necessity. But Daenerys? Her story did not end in uncertainty. It ended in revelation. She became what the world feared she might. Resurrection, my dear friend, is not granted to erase consequence. It is granted to fulfill destiny. And Daenerys fulfilled hers. Yet, there is Drogon. He did not leave her in the ashes of King's Landing. He did not abandon her body to decay beneath a broken throne. He carried her east. East where the air tastes of salt and shadow. East where priests of R'hllor still whisper of Azor Ahai. Some claim he flew to Volantis, others to Ashai. There are even those who murmur that he sought the Red Temple, where the Lord of Light's servants tend their flames. After all, if a Red Priestess could bring back Jon Snow, could another not attempt the same for the Mother of Dragons? It is possible, but possible is not inevitable. Remember this, Melisandre did not command resurrection. She begged for it, and even she did not understand why Jon was chosen. If Daenerys were to rise again, it would not be because Drogon desired it, nor because grief demanded it. It would be because the world required her return. Does it? Ask yourself honestly, what would her resurrection serve? A second conquest? Another war? Redemption? Or would it simply reopen wounds that have barely begun to scar? There is poetry in the idea of her return. Fire reborn, a queen rising from death as she once rose from flame. But poetry is not prophecy. Drogon taking her east may not have been a journey toward resurrection. It may have been a burial of legend. In Valyria, the Dragon Lords believed fire purified. Perhaps Drogon sought a place worthy of her memory. Or perhaps he sought hope. Even dragons grieve. Even dragons refuse to accept finality. But hope does not guarantee miracle. Jon Snow returned changed, quieter, emptier, as though death had taken something essential from him. If Daenerys returned, who would she be? The breaker of chains? Or the conqueror of cities? Resurrection is not restoration. It is transformation. And sometimes, the most merciful ending is the one that remains final. Men want her back because they loved her, or feared her, or needed her to mean something pure. But stories do not bend simply because we wish them to. Jon's return was a spark in the darkness. Daenerys' death was the flame consuming itself. Fire that burns too hot leaves only ash. So, will she return? Perhaps somewhere in the east, red priests stare into flame and see a silver-haired queen walking through smoke. Perhaps Drogon waits, wings folded, guarding a body that refuses to yield. But if she does rise, it will not be for vengeance. It will not be for love. It will be because the world once again stands on the brink, and only fire can decide what remains. Until then, she is legend. And legends, my friend, are far more powerful than flesh, because legends never die.